Welcome back, everybody, to 2Blue and OSU, the ultimate sports podcast for your entertainment. I'm your host, Zach. I am joined today by the terrible Buckeye, Morgan Garber. What's up, man?
Not a lot. It was a rough start to the evening, but I'm ready to get started with YouTube, knuckleheads.
Yeah, we won't tell our viewers the dog story you had. It was long and I didn't care. I'm also joined by my fellow Michigan man, Ryan. How are we doing? Back in the terrible land, I hear.
Yeah, I'm back here in Ohio on some leave between schools and ready to get started.
Yeah, we're gonna have we start our conference breakdown, getting ready for the college football season, which is 5 weeks away. Thank the Lord. So we're starting off with the worst conference there is, the SEC, and we'll work our way to the best conference, which of course is the Big Ten. But today it's SEC talk.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Before we get started there, we have some Johnny football news and some horrible rumors as well. I saw a link that Johnny football had signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that turned out to be bogus. But today he came out and said that he is going to come back, but with the Dallas Cowboys. Thoughts?
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
surprised. Ladies first, go ahead.
okay. Yeah. It's just him talking. I mean, there's nothing set in stone. There's nothing. That's what he says, and I mean, Cowboys have a history of signing horrible quarterbacks. Apparently, I mean, they took in, Grandpa Whedon and from the Browns, and I mean, what do they need Manziel for, to just take up another spot on the bench? I don't think Jerry Jones is going to risk. I mean, he'll take a risk with almost anybody, but I don't know if he'll take that risk with Manziel. I don't know if he's going to come back at all. I don't know if anybody's going to give him that shot.
He took a risk with Greg Hardy. Jerry Jones wanted to draft Johnny Football. He didn't get around to it. Tony Romo is injury prone and looks a little bit overweight too at his training camp. So I'm not surprised.
It would be a high risk. I wouldn't even call it high reward. I never thought he was a good NFL quarterback. I thought Mike Evans made him what he was in college. So, but he might feel a need for a backup role and potential home run hitter, because he is an athlete. We can't deny that. He's definitely an athlete.
Yeah, he's an athlete, but is he an NFL athlete?
I don't think so. No, I don't think he has what it takes to be in the league at all.
No, I agree. You might be able to put him at a slot, but then again, you have to worry about his size and his health and all that jazz. So that's our Johnny football plug for the month. I'm sure we'll have more as the season progresses, as he realizes the opportunity he threw away to get high and party.
He keeps the show going.
He is, in fact, our rock star. In some other NFL news, Josh Gordon has been reinstated by the NFL and will serve a 4-game suspension, but he will actually play football this year. That means he's going to be on my fantasy football draft board, and he might be number 3.
Yeah, I think that's huge for the Browns. Give RG3 another weapon, especially if you can get the old RG3 back, like his rookie year. You got Josh Gordon coming in to go with Coleman, another Baylor guy, and Barnard at the tight end. If they can click well, that Browns offense might not be too bad. I mean, we know Gordon can put up numbers, especially when he has been the only guy on the offensive end and has had mediocre quarterbacks still putting up over 1,000 yards, 6, 7 touchdowns. So we know what Gordon can do. It's if they can. It's how fast they can click when he comes back.
Yeah, it's definitely a big positive for the Browns. I mean, and for Josh Gordon as well to actually be able to play football. I mean, even though he does have the suspension, but it's going to be a big deal for the Browns. If they can all click, like Morgan was saying, then I mean the Browns could be a decent team this year. I mean, I don't say they're going to be playoff bound, but they could be a decent team.
All right, let's get the better chance. Better chance Johnny Manziel makes an NFL roster, or Josh Gordon makes it through his 4-game suspension without popping positive for marijuana.
That's a tough one.
Johnny Manziel.
You think better odds, or?
I think Josh Gordon's got a better chance of making it 4 games than Manziel does making a team. Slim,
Yeah.
but better chances.
Yeah, Gordon knows how much it cost him. He's been through this a couple of times now. Hopefully he got his head out of his ass and he's ready to come back and play football. So I'll give it to Gordon.
I don't even know if he's going to make it through preseason. But he's back. I hope he does, because he'll be on the huge Ditka 2BlueandOSU fantasy football team who will win the league.
Oh my God, here we go again. Huge Ditka.
You are the only one who takes sexual references from that, okay?
It's because he's a Buckeye fan.
I'm the only one that's talking crap to you so far, so.
I know, no one's been on the message board yet. It's been up a whole day and no one started yet. This is not the kind of league I join, okay? There needs to be endless trash talking.
Yes, I've told some of my friends that joined. I'm like, hey, we talk a lot of trash, so feel free to get on there, check the message boards often, because we will be talking crap.
The butthurt shall be strong with these ones. All right, let's get into the worst part of the show. In 5 weeks, it'll be a glorious part, but right now we have to suffer through the SEC preview. All of them are going to lose every single game, and they all suck. The end.
Good job. Good segue.
That's wishful thinking.
It's impossible, but yeah. And of course, when you talk about the SEC, you have to talk about the giant elephant in the room. That is Alabama. They're coming off the national title, 14-1. They beat Michigan State 38-0, and then Clemson 45-40 in the playoff game and national title game. And while they lost quite a bit, they returned a good number and they've recruited the best recruits for the last 5 years now. So it's not like they're not reloading. So Morgan, I want to hear your take first on Alabama and where do you see them going? Who we should watch out for? We know they're going to be a powerhouse team this year. Can anybody knock them off?
They do have 6 guys coming back on the offensive end. They, of course, lost Derrick Henry, which was a huge playmaker for them. But they got some receiving guys coming back. They got Calvin Ridley coming back, Stewart coming back, and then the tight end, O.J. Howard, who had a big game. So they have some weapons for the quarterback, but a quarterback's a big question. They have 3 starters on the O-line coming. That's including left tackle Cam Robinson, who I think we all can agree should not be playing, but that's neither here nor there. But who's their quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Cooper Bateman, Jalen Hurts, or Blake Barnett? So that's the big question for him, is who the quarterback is going to be. He has weapons, whoever the quarterback is. Then they got 5 starters coming back on the defensive end. They lost 4 of the top 5 tacklers. They do got 3 starters coming back in their secondary, so their secondary should be pretty good. So they could have some questions on the defensive end also. I have them finish the season at 10-2. I gave them a couple losses. I don't think it'll be the powerhouse Alabama team that we're used to seeing, just because they have, I feel like, a little bit more questions on the offensive end and the defensive end. And they go right off the bat, game against USC at AT&T Stadium, and that could easily be a loss for them. Then they go at Tennessee, at LSU, at Ole Miss. So those are some tough games to play, and Tennessee isn't going to be any slouch for this year. We know what LSU has, so I have them going at 10-2.
So do you have the USC as a loss on your list?
I could see them losing to either USC, Tennessee, or LSU. Two of those three games I have down as a loss. I don't know which two. I could see them losing to USC, but they could also go to Knoxville and lose, to Baton Rouge and lose. So one of those three games, they'll have two losses.
Ryan, your takes on the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Obviously, they come into this season as a heavy favorite just because they're coming off the championship win last year. And like you already said, they have 11 guys returning as starters, 6 for offense, 6 for defense. But they also lost some big-name players. They're gonna struggle with LSU this year. LSU's not gonna have the season they had last year. They're gonna turn it around. They have 17 guys returning this season, and I think that they're just gonna give Alabama a run for their money. I don't think Alabama's gonna win the SEC this year. They're gonna have a hard time with Ole Miss as well. I don't know. I see this as one of their down years. Not necessarily, not going to make a big bowl, but they're not going to win it all. It's going to be somebody else. LSU's going to win the West this year, in my opinion.
I'm excited to see Bo Scarborough play. We've been waiting for him. He's been sitting behind Derrick Henry. He's bigger than Derrick Henry is. He's not necessarily faster. They also have Damian Harris, who was the number 1 recruit 2 years ago that we all know, was a Michigan commit, decommitted, and had OSU and Alabama in UK as his top 3 after that. Ended up going to Alabama, and they signed Najee Harris, who's one of the top running backs this year. So that backfield could be a 3-headed monster. But again, quarterback is a question mark. But Nick Saban, he's been here before with the quarterback situation. And even though it hasn't been a big-name guy, true to Saban teams, their quarterbacks just don't make the mistakes that lose them games. And I think that's something different than most SEC teams. And something I see again. And on defense, you mentioned the secondary guys. Humphrey and Fitzpatrick were freshmen last year, and they played very well. Now they're experienced. And I think they're going to be better in that back end. With strong safety Eddie Jackson being the senior leadership back there. And their D-line,
he turned down the NFL. He had a chance to go to the draft, and he decided to turn down to come back for his senior year. So
yeah, he was going to be
for them.
First or second rounder, right? Is where they had him projected?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he came back. And their D-line, they lost a bit, but they were also, they rotated 11 guys last year on that D-line. But so their D-line isn't inexperienced. They just aren't all starters from last year. I see them winning the SEC. I see them winning the SEC West. I have them going 11-1 with their sole loss coming to Tennessee. I think their schedule does play against them. Well, you guys mentioned it. They're away at Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at LSU, and starting off the year against USC in Arlington, Texas. I think they beat USC. I think they're more experienced than USC is right now. And for week 1, if this was a week 10 or 11 matchup, I might think differently. But week 1, I'm giving the edge to Alabama. And I see Tennessee as their trip-up game. They almost lost to them last year, and I think Tennessee is more experienced this year. But I have them going 11-1.
I can't argue with you. I mean, I got 10-2. You have 11-1. So, but I think we both agree that they can lose that Tennessee game. So,
well, I think they could. I mean, this could be 2009. They could be 9-4, or 10-3.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be one of those years, depending on how the quarterback shapes up, and if those running backs are as good as advertised. Nothing?
I got nothing else.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the LSU Tigers that you guys mentioned. I'm assuming now that you both picked them to win the SEC West. We'll start with you, Ryan. What are you seeing from LSU that leads you to believe they can topple mighty Alabama?
I mean, last year it was a rough year for them. Definitely not the way LSU you're used to seeing LSU and Les Miles football. They're returning, like I said, 17 starters, 9 guys on offense, 8 on defense. Fournette's returning, one of the best players in college football, and the receivers Dupree and Durrell are also returning. So, I mean, those are three big guys right there that can help them, push them over the edge, get past Alabama this year, and win the West for sure.
So you do have them winning the West?
I do have them winning the West.
Okay. All right, Morgan?
Yeah, like Ryan said, they got Fournette, Dupree, and Durrell coming back. They got Brandon Harris. This will be his second year being a starter. They got 3 starters coming back on the O-line. So their offense is going to be pretty experienced, I would say the least. The big thing is on the defensive end. They got 9 starters coming back. They got all 4 starters in the secondary coming back. 2 starters at the linebacker coming back. A big thing for them, which is ironic because their first game is against the Badgers. They just hired the defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda, who led the Badgers to #1 in total D in 3 straight seasons. So he's coming in this LSU team that has 9 guys coming back, everyone in the secondary coming back, 2 top guys at the linebacker coming back. So this defense is definitely going to take a couple of steps forward. I have them going 12-0. I don't see them losing a game. They got Bama home, Ole Miss home. They got at Florida and at Arkansas. That Florida game could be tricky. They can get past the Badgers. That's at Madison. So that'll be a home game for the Badgers pretty much. But I can see them getting by that, especially if they get past the early game, first game bidders. They should be able to handle them pretty well.
That game's at Lambeau. You said Madison.
Oh, sorry.
It's in Lambeau Field. I don't disagree with a lot that you guys are saying, obviously, but the returning starters on defense, they weren't that great of a defense last year. They weren't typical LSU defense, so we're just assuming that they're going to be better when they might just not be a very talented group of guys. And Leonard Fournette is going to be the workhorse. If he doesn't have 300 carries this year, I'll be surprised. If he can maintain that workload and not get injured, I see 300 carries easy, probably close to 2,000 yards. But Brandon Harris at quarterback. Ryan, you mentioned the receivers, Dupree and Durrell, are outstanding athletes, great receivers. But under Les Miles, especially in recent years, quarterback play has been atrocious. It's been their Achilles heel, and it's killed them in a lot of games. And I have them going 11-1. That one loss to Bama, which is why they don't win the West. Because I think their schedule kind of, I think it's way easier than Alabama's. I think even if they go 11-1, they don't make the playoffs because of their schedule alone. They have to beat Alabama, in my opinion, to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why I gave them a 12-0 because they don't have that tough of a schedule. So if they can get by Bama, there's your 12-0.
All right, so did you predict records at all, Ryan, or no?
I did not.
Okay. All right. You suck.
I do. It's cool.
Clowns. All right, let's move on to Ole Miss, who has been the Achilles heel for Alabama the last 2 seasons. They went 10-3 last year. They lost, but their losses were terrible. Florida, Memphis, and Arkansas in overtime. I think that Arkansas game was that crazy play to end the game to send it into OT.
Yeah.
They went 10-3. They went 10-3, beating Alabama and LSU, and they returned arguably the best quarterback in the SEC. Morgan, I'll start with you this time. Where are they going? Is it an improvement, or do they slide back?
Yeah, like you just said, they got arguably the best quarterback in the SEC, if not the country, coming back, in Chad Kelly. Completed 65% of his passes last year for over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns. He also led the team with 10 rushing touchdowns. So he's going to be a huge factor in that offense. They lose their top 2 wideouts, so that'll hurt them. They got 6 offensive linemen with that have some experience starting, so that'll help them out a lot. On the defensive end, they got 5 starters coming back, but they lose 3 players on the D-line. They lost some of the linebackers, so the defense could easily take a few steps back. It all depends on the play of Chad Kelly. He's going to have to carry the team. He's going to have to be a playmaker with his arms and with his legs. I have them going 8-4. They play Florida State right off the bat in Orlando, I believe. They got Bama and Georgia home. They're at Arkansas, at LSU, and home against Mississippi State. So obviously those 4 losses can come in those games. So I have them going 8-4.
Ryan, what do you think about Ole Miss this year?
They're only returning 9 starters. That's the fewest out of any of the power conferences except for Ohio State. But I mean, you got Chad Kelly coming back. Yeah, he's going to have to be the workhorse for him, but with losing all those guys, all the starters from last year, they're this new group of commits they got coming in. I mean, 2 of the guys are 5-star recruits. They're going to have to pick up and start right where they left off last year and just push even harder. It's going to be a rough season for them, but I don't see it being rough as in like a losing season. I think I'll say they'll go. They'll be 10-2 on the worst end of it. LSU and Bama and they're the top 3 in the West. The rest of that division's pretty much a crapshoot. But I don't see them being that awful, even though they're only returning that many starters this year.
Yeah, I have them going 9-3. I have losses to Florida State, Alabama, and LSU. So the 3 big ones, I have them losing all 3. The rest. Georgia is going to be tricky. I think Georgia is going to be we'll get to the East in a minute, but I think they're going to be a pretty solid squad this year. And I think that'll be a tricky one, so it could be 9-3. If they can pull up the upset over at Bama in the Grove again, that place is going to go absolute apeshit. I think Ole Miss is probably the one SEC school I want to visit during a game day and tailgate at. I want to tailgate in the Grove. I think that would be amazing.
We should plan a road trip to get rich from the podcast.
Yeah. Not going to get rich with your terrible video. All right, so I had them going 9-3. Do we have to talk about the rest of the SEC West?
No.
Do we think anybody else really has a chance in that group?
Not at all.
Texas A&M?
No.
Can we talk about them for a second?
I mean, you can. I picked them going 5-7, so.
Oh, see, I have them going 8-4.
My next best is Arkansas at 7-5, of my prediction. And I'm gonna lay out all my predictions at the end.
Let's talk about Arkansas because I have them going 9-3. So let's talk about them.
You can talk about them. I don't think they're very good. So. And
Arkansas?
Yeah, and I have absolute disdain for their head coach, for obvious reasons.
True. All right, well, go over Arkansas real quick. They lose quarterback Brendan Allen to the draft, but they got his brother Austin coming in. We'll see how he plays. They returned their core wideouts. That was huge for them. They only got 2 stars O-line, so that might struggle, but having your 5 wideouts, your main guys coming back, helps them out a lot. Could definitely give the new quarterback some weapons. Defense, they got 4 guys coming back on the D-line. They got 9 starters coming back total, so the defense should be pretty stout still. Or it should definitely make some improvements from last year. I got them going 9-3. They start off at TCU. They got home Bama, at Auburn, home Florida, home LSU. So three losses could be, we can say, Bama, Florida, and LSU.
I have them losing to TCU
So-
as well. I think TCU is going to be a
So
really good team.
yeah, so it could be what, 9-3 or 8-4.
Well, I think I had them losing to Florida too. I have them going 7-5. They're my. I don't think anybody besides the top three we talked about have a real shot of challenge. There's no surprise team, in my opinion, in the SEC West. The surprise would be if Alabama or LSU doesn't win the West.
And Ole Miss is the only one that's going to stop them from doing that.
Yeah. All right, are you good with the West now, Morgan? Do you have any other teams?
No, do you have your prediction of how the West is going to shape out? Like
I do.
I have. Okay, we'll start with you and we'll see how it compares to mine.
Okay, I have Alabama winning at 11-1 and going 7-1 in conference. I have LSU going 11-1, 7-1 in conference. But that loss to Bama puts them in second. Ole Miss at 9-3, 6-2 in conference. Arkansas 7-5, 4-4 in conference. Texas A&M 5-7, 2-6 in conference. Auburn 5-7, 2-6 in conference. And Mississippi State 5-7, but 1-7 in conference play.
Yeah, I have LSU 1, undefeated. I got Bama 10-2, Arkansas 9-3, A&M at 8-4, Ole Miss 8-4, Mississippi State 7-5, and Auburn at 5-7. That's kind of what I got.
You must really hate
I don't think all.
You must really hate the East if you think that all those teams are going to have winning records.
Well, speaking of the East,
Yeah, we'll move on to the
let's
East,
jump right into it.
and we'll start off with last year's SEC East champions, Florida. They lost the last three going to the end of last year. They lost to Florida State 27-2, Bama 29-15, and then of course Michigan in the Citrus Bowl, 41-7, beat down.
Always.
Beat down.
What was that bowl?
Citrus Bowl.
Oh, okay.
It was a New Year's Day bowl, so
That was
get off my nuts.
That was a highlight for you guys.
We won 10 games, so I don't think that was.
You gotta hang
But
your
yeah.
hat on something. I mean, you can't hang your hat on the beatdown that we gave you guys.
I mean, a
In
double-digit
the big
win.
house, so.
A double-digit win season in our coach's first year. I think I can hang my hat. Hold on. Yep, it hung. It hung quite fine, actually. It fit like a glove.
I mean, as long as you're happy with the Citrus Bowl win, that's pretty impressive.
In our first year, I'm happy with 10 wins. When I thought we were going to go
All right, well-
5.
It's not 12, so.
Are you really going to compare Urban Meyer's, fourth year to... You know what? Fuck off. You're an idiot. We're ranked higher than you in the preseason polls. That's how much people care
Oh
about
my
your
god! I go the preseason. We won the preseason! Yay!
Where you guys at?
You won the
Are
preseason.
you guys even top 10 right now? Who cares? You're
It
not
doesn't
number 30.
matter. We were top 10 when we won the national championship. It doesn't matter where we are.
Yeah, you don't have that
The only
offense
thing that
coordinator.
matters is where we finish.
You don't have that offense coordinator anymore, do you? Nope, you don't. All right. Anyways,
Well,
back
hopefully,
to-
got his head out of his ass.
we got Big Ten coming up in a couple of weeks, so shut up. You're an idiot, and I hate you.
You started it.
I'm talking about Michigan beating Florida, and you wanted to. What bowl game was that? I'm Morgan and
Yeah,
that
the Citrus Bowl.
douchebag.
The no one gives a shit bowl. That was a no one gives a shit bowl.
Ryan, did you care about that bowl?
I cared.
I cared too.
I did. That's at least
Because
two
you're
people,
Michigan
so
fans. Nobody else cared.
I think Michigan is the third largest fan base in the country, so the third largest fan base cared. So, and I'm sure Florida fans cared until the beatdown began. Suck it. Anyways,
I'll let you gloat about the Citrus Bowl.
I will. I have no problem with that. We won 10 games last year in our coach's first year. It's a good year. You hater. You're just trolling now. That's all you're doing. You're just a troll right now. You bring nothing to this debate.
All right, Florida,
at all.
go.
That's more. I'll start Ryan off since you want to keep running your damn mouth. Shut you up for a minute. Ryan, what do you think about Florida?
All right. Well, Florida's returning 12 of their starters from last year. Like you said, they did win the East. But there is a huge quarterback question in Florida. Treon Harris, who was originally expected to return but get moved to wide receiver, he was granted release from his scholarship and announced that he is transferring from Florida. From what I look, there's nothing saying where he's going yet. He's the 7th quarterback to leave Florida in the past 7 years, or in the past 4 years, excuse me. And they have 4 new quarterbacks coming in, 2 freshmen and 2 transfers that are all going to be fighting for that starting position. It's going to be a solid year for Florida once they get that quarterback position figured out. I don't have them winning the East, but I think they'll be in the top 2.
Ooh, that's a bold prediction from you, sir. Morgan, I want to hear your take, and you guys might be a little shocked on mine, I think, at this point.
What do you have him at?
Well, I want to hear your take.
What was your final record?
I didn't give a record.
Oh.
He says they'll be in the top.
Two.
He said he could see them in the top 2 of the East.
Oh, okay. Well, like Ryan said, they got quarterbacks coming in. They got the Oregon State guy, Del Rio. Then they got a JUCO transfer, Mark Thompson, who I believe is scheduled to be the man. Their passing game sucked last year, so they can't possibly get any worse, I don't think. Their defense was 8th in total D for last year. They lost a couple guys at the draft, lost some guys in the secondary to the draft. They had 7 guys that came up with 7 or more sacks, so they're going to have a pretty stout pass rush. I got them going at 9-3. They got at Tennessee, home LSU, and home Georgia. Those are obviously the 3 losses, so I'll put them at 9-3. That'll be 3rd in the SEC East. You can pretty much guess who the top 2 are, but I got them at 9-3.
Well, yeah, I must be underselling, or you guys see something completely different than I do. Maybe I put so much value on quarterbacks. I look at that quarterback situation, and their offense was putrid last year. God awful. They had a great defense, and they returned 7 of those guys, including Jalen Tabor in the secondary. And they say he's even better than, who was the stud last year they had? Who won the first round?
Hargraves?
Hargraves, yeah. They say Tabor's even better than Hargraves. So he's going to be a stud. But that offense is so bad. It's terrible. I have them going 7-5. I have them losing to.
I think they have a favorable schedule.
I have them losing to Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, South Carolina, and they're playing at Florida State. I'm picking Florida State in that matchup.
Okay. I can see the Florida State one. I don't think South Carolina too much, which I think South Carolina is going to be horrendous for this year.
We disagree there too.
So I think 9-3 just from my end, just because their schedule looks pretty favored. So even 9-3, 8-4, I could see happen. Like I said, just like you said, their offense was horrible. That I don't think they could get any worse. Jesus, they might awful for last year.
They might. You never know. They have no real quarterback on roster from last year.
True.
This quarterback's got to learn the system. He's got to learn the receivers, learn the pass protections, learn the running backs. And it's not like they're loaded in those areas either. So
no.
Defense might
offense can take a step forward. Yeah, because the defense will be better than last year. So it'll take 2 steps forward. Usually the offense will take 1 step forward, and then with that schedule, you can pull out an 8-4, 9-3.
We'll see about that. I have them finishing 4th. I have very top-heavy SEC East and West. I see a couple dominant teams, and then I see a lot of also rans and then garbage teams. So at 7-5, they are 4th in my SEC East.
I think the big thing is going to be what happens with them in Georgia, because you guys both gave them losses to Georgia, and that's going to be, out of all the losses that you discussed, Morgan, you especially, that's going to be the biggest question if they can get past that game, because even as awful as their offense was last year, they still beat Georgia. So that's the only reason I put them where I did. That's going to be a tough game for them, but I mean, I don't think either one of you, what you're saying is completely wrong. You have valid points, but I just think they're going to be better than, because their offense can't be any worse than it was last year. There's no way.
This has been the most polite 2Blue and OSU episode ever.
That's because we're trying not to interrupt each other because you told us not to, and
Yeah,
it's boring.
We're actually trying to do the video thing. Screw it. Let's just do what we want to do. If you don't like it, watch something else.
That's all. Well, no. I am also trying not to be so, I'm trying not to have the bias come out because we all three hate the SEC. They're overrated. They're in bed with the NCAA and ESPN. They're having a freaking three-way. So this is tough. I'm gritting my teeth trying to get through this crap.
Yeah, I think that's the hard. I think that's the biggest part is we all agree that we hate the SEC.
I didn't even want to do this research to do this show today.
No, I'm gonna call in sick my own show.
I should have. Hey guys, I can't make it today.
You wouldn't be the first host in your seat to do that.
Hey! Don't compare me.
At least you're not on the phone.
Or having sex.
Or taking a shit.
Oh, excuse me, playing a sport. This is a child-friendly show, you fuckers.
Playing a sport.
All right, who do you want to talk about next, Georgia or Tennessee?
Let's leave Tennessee for last. Or next, I should say, because we really only need to talk about those three, in my opinion.
I have one other I want to talk about. But let's go ahead.
Is yours South Carolina?
Yeah.
Is that your surprise one?
Yeah. They're not my surprise. They're not really my surprise. I think Tennessee is going to be a surprise team.
All right, so let's start with Tennessee then.
All right, let's go Tennessee then. All right. Tennessee went 9-4 last year. They're returning 10 on offense, 8 on defense that I found.
9 on offense is what I found.
See, our numbers have been off.
All
All right, we'll go 9 offense, 8 on defense. That's 17 returners. Joshua Dobbs is being projected as being the breakout quarterback in the SEC. He had 2,300 yards last year, 15 touchdowns, only 5 picks. Also ran for over 650 yards and 11 touchdowns. But Jalen Hurd is the all-conference running back they bring back. That backfield is stellar. You also think about the 8 defensive players they're bringing back, including Evan Berry, Eric Berry's younger brother, who's a stud. Darren Kirkland at middle linebacker is going to be a great player. And they have 3 all-conference players on defense coming back. I see their schedule. I see these guys coming back. And I see a pretty damn good team. I had them going 11-1 with their only loss. I'm picking at Georgia as a loss. So
right,
I had
them going 11-1.
Yeah, I had them going 11-1. Only loss is at Georgia, in my book.
So does that put Georgia at winning the West then, or the East?
Can you hang on?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. I have Tennessee going at 11-1 also. You forgot to mention the wide receivers. So they have 2 top wide receivers come back, Malone and Smith. Malone had 31 receptions for 400 yards and 2 touchdowns. Smith 23, 307 for 2 touchdowns. Tight end was a big part. They got 4 guys coming back at the offensive line. They got a left tackle, Drew Richard, I believe who it was. 5-star, could start right away. So their offensive line will be pretty much intact. Excuse me. Their whole offense will be intact. I mean, and then you got 8 coming back on the defensive end. 5 of the top 6 tacklers. The linebackers stay intact. Their secondary should be stout. And their schedule isn't that bad either. You're home against Florida, at Georgia, at A&M, home against Bama. I got them going 11-1. I got them beating Georgia. I could see them losing to. I could see them losing at home to Bama, maybe losing at A&M, depending on how A&M plays out. But I got them going 11-1 and winning the East.
Brian, how about you?
Yeah, I have them winning the East as well. Like we already said, they're bringing back 17 returning starters, quarterback, running back, receivers, 4 guys in the offensive line. Their biggest downfall is going to be that they have 4 empty spots that they now have to fill. on the defensive line, which could make or break their season depending on how those new guys fit into it. The Georgia game's going to be a hard game for them. I don't think they would lose that game. I see them winning the East, and they're going to lose to Bama. So I would say 11-1.
Okay, so we all see 11-1, and you guys have them winning the East.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We'll go ahead and move on to Georgia. The other team I think most of us see as pretty solid. They have their new coach, Kirby Smart, the old Alabama D coordinator. That's something we didn't mention before. Is Alabama is now their first year in quite a while without Kirby Smart running the defense. That might be an issue for them as well. He's at Georgia now. Mark Richt is down at the University of Miami. Morgan, where do you have Georgia going?
I got Georgia going 11-1. Of course, their loss will be to Tennessee. So I'll put Tennessee at number 1 spot. They got Josh Eason, who should be the starter at quarterback, who's supposed to be really good too. Jacob Eason. Thank you. Their O-line could be some questions there. Moving some guys around. They got a good young wide receiver core. Another big question is, can Nick Chubb go? And then on the defensive end, they lost 3 starters on the defensive line and a key backup. Their secondary should be able to carry a lot of the load. So they have questions, but again, their schedule is pretty easy. They're at Ole Miss, but they got Tennessee home, Florida home, Auburn home, and probably a high school or 2 teams thrown in there. You know, the SEC loves playing a high school team the second to last game. So
yeah, Louisiana Lafayette is theirs.
Yeah. So I see them going 11-1, second in the East, because everybody else will stuck besides Tennessee.
Ryan?
Yeah, like I said, they're bringing back 13 starters. 4 of their 6 returning starters on defense are in the secondary. With that experience, said that they could be one of the best groups of defensive backs in the East. Well, in the East, they will be the best. The defensive line, they have a couple holes to fill there, but they had a solid recruiting class this year, so I don't think that'll be an issue. The bar is set high for Smart. I mean, coming in here and doing what they haven't won a big-time bowl. They haven't been to a big-time bowl game since 2007 when they went to the Sugar Bowl. So, they're due for a turnaround. Like Morgan said, Jacob Eason's coming in. He's expected to be really good. Hopefully, can lead that offense and hopefully Chubb can get going as well. And then hopefully their defense can step up. They also have new coordinator Mel Tucker, so we'll see what they can do is on the defensive side of the ball as well. So yeah, they're going to be right there with Florida. Like I said, they're going to be neck and neck for number 2 in the East. But yeah, they're still not going to be above Tennessee.
Defensive end Robert Beal was their highest recruited player. He was a 92 grade on ESPN. He might step in right away and get some playing time on that defensive line. And you guys say Eason is supposed to be really good. If you listen to Georgia fans, he's the second coming. And they think he's going to be a Heisman Trophy winner here in the future. And Nick Chubb is a big question mark, but even if he can't go 100% all the time, Sony Michel is 1,100-yard back, splitting time with Chubb, and he's also the better receiver threat of the 2. So Michel is going to get in there, and if he has the full load, he might get 1,500 yards plus. So that's not really too much concern. Chubb is obviously a beast, but Sony Michel can hold his own in that offense. I have them going 11-1 with their sole loss coming to Ole Miss. I have them beating Tennessee. But I have them going to Grove the week before as a trap game and losing to Ole Miss before the Tennessee game, and then bouncing back, beating Tennessee. Going 11-1, 7-1 in conference, and winning the East. Excuse me.
Can't argue there. I mean, we obviously have Tennessee winning, but 11-1 for Georgia. I got them going 11-1. Their lone loss in my book will be at home against Tennessee. So I think they'll get past the Ole Miss game and have a letdown at home against Tennessee.
Okay. Well, we're off by a game, so we'll see. No, I have South Carolina going 9-3. I won't sit here and break down too much about them. I'm just gonna go over the schedule. Their schedules are really the only reason why. I think they have a pretty solid squad. I don't think they're top tier. I think if they go 9-3 and make it to a good bowl, they're gonna get destroyed. But they miss out on Bama. They miss out on LSU. They miss out on Ole Miss, the top three from the West. I had them losing at Clemson, to Tennessee, and to Georgia. So, and of course, I'm not really high on Florida this year, so I had them beating Florida in Florida.
I can see where you're coming from having like you said, early easy schedule. You got A&M, Georgia, and Tennessee home, but I think they'll lose those. I mean, all their big games. I think they'll lose. A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and Clemson.
I think you're higher.
4 guys coming back on offensive end.
I'm not high in A&M at all this year, at all. So I think you and I are off pace there, which is why we're hitting a lot of disagreements with some of these sleeper teams. I don't see A&M being good. I don't see Florida being good. Auburn, Mississippi State.
The only reason why I picked A&M to be somebody decent, they got Trevor Knight coming in. Then they got the running back who transferred also with them at Keith Ford.
Mm-hmm.
They got some good wide receivers, 1,000-yard man, 900-yard man, and they got the best defensive ends. They're arguably the best defensive ends, Washington and Moore, and they have the same linebacker core coming in. So that's why I'm kind of a little bit more high on them, coming in at 8-4.
Okay, all right. So what does your East standings look like?
So my East, I have Tennessee 11-1 win, Georgia 11-1, Florida 9-3, Kentucky 6-6, Missouri 5-7, Vandy 4-8, South Carolina 3-9.
You have South Carolina going 3-9. We flip on South Carolina.
Yeah. I don't see them being good at all.
Wow. All right. Well, I have Georgia winning 11-1, 7-1 conference. Tennessee 11-1, 7-1 conference with the loss to Georgia. South Carolina 9-3, 6-2 in conference. Florida 7-5, 4-4 in conference. Missouri 5-7, 2-6 in conference. UK 4-8, 1-7 in conference. I had Vandy going 3-9 and 0-8 in conference play. So my SEC
What you have Kentucky doing?
4-8.
4-8.
I'm not sold into.
Why do you have them go 4-8?
I don't think that they've recruited as well as people hyped them up to be. UK probably shouldn't be in the SEC, to be honest with you. The only reason they're there is for the basketball, in my opinion. I don't think they match up. I don't think they match up well with anybody but Vandy and possibly Missouri in the East, and nobody in the West.
I think their offense will be pretty good. I mean, they got nine guys coming back on the offensive end. They got the new coordinator from Cincinnati coming in, Eddie Graham, I believe is his name, and he was pretty good with UC. They got Williams and JoJo Kemp at the running back. They got the top 4 wideouts coming back. They got 4 guys coming back on the offensive end.
Yeah, but you're talking about guys coming back on a team that sucked.
They're not a bad team. I mean, and I'm okay, but when you got guys coming back, they're only going to get better. They're not going to get worse. They're only going to get better.
Says who?
That's not necessary. I mean, they could just not be a good squad. They could just be horrible football players, and that's why they're playing.
I have them going 6-6. Yeah, I mean, I have them going 6-6. With their big matchups, losing all 6 of those: Florida, Bama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Louisville. So, but they'll win the other 6. So I got them at 500. I'm not that high on them, but I think they're better than what you have at.
No way. Negative. That's one I'll hold you to. UK. No. So my SEC title game for me is Bama versus Georgia, and I'm picking Bama to win and represent the SEC in the playoffs yet again. I know I went out on a limb here. It's crazy.
Yeah. You pull off thought on that one.
Well, I did, asshole. Okay, it just happened to be the best team. You dick.
I have LSU and Tennessee, and I'll go with LSU. I mean, I got them going 12-0, so I'll have LSU going.
The no quarterback having LSU is going to go to the playoffs.
But they got everybody else. I mean, Bama has mediocre quarterbacks, and they find a way.
They don't have mediocre quarterbacks. They just don't have flashy quarterbacks. Their quarterbacks throw for 30 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and nobody talks about them.
More of a game manager than anything.
Yeah, that's really all you need. Brandon Harris is a turnover machine, and he can run, but he cannot throw the damn ball. He's Denard Robinson minus actual talent.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
I think he'll take a step forward. He won't be as bad as last year, and he has a bunch of weapons around him on the offensive end. So
yeah, they have great
we'll
weapons.
See when
they can't get in the ball.
We'll see when LSU and Bama play. That'll be what separates us.
If I'm Bama, I'm putting 8 in the box, and I'm daring Brandon Harris to beat me. I would shut Leonard Fournette down all day. I'm blitzing. I might go all-out blitz every single time. If you got 4 receivers, I'll blitz 7. If you got 3, I'm blitzing 8.
I mean, just do a little quick throw out. I mean, just get the ball into your receiver's hands. Just do little quick passes. You can be
I'm talking about press man coverage with all-out blitz. Cover 0 across the board. I'm making Brandon Harris beat me with tight windows and throwing the football.
We'll see when that game comes around.
Yeah, we're going to talk so much trash about an SEC matchup that we don't even give a fuck about.
No. Fuck that.
Brian, who do you have?
Sorry, I cussed the game.
I got Tennessee and LSU, and I'll take Tennessee to win the SEC.
I want to. Okay, here's my thing about Tennessee, all right, is people have been hyping them up for the last, 2 years now?
Yeah.
And they've been okay and then pretty good, but they've never taken that next step. So we keep talking about them in the preseason, and it never comes to fruition. So I'm a little hesitant to pick them. I would like to. I think they have a hell of a squad, but eventually you gotta show me,
Yeah. I mean,
they're due. They're due to have a breakout season. So.
I mean, they've been top 5 in the recruiting class almost every year. It feels like.
Yeah.
So
they recruit
talent.
well. They get the top JUCO players are coming to Tennessee. They have great high school players coming in. They've got to win now.
Yeah.
Excuses are out the window at this point.
Nope.
All right, so that is our.
We all three want to pick them. So we all three want to pick Tennessee. Me and you are a little more hesitant than what Ryan is.
Yeah, Ryan's the one who went out on the limb. So, hat off to you, Ryan. You might be a genius, or you might be the dumbest shit here. Who knows? We'll find out.
I'll go with the number 1.
Jesus.
More often than not, it's number 2.
As long as Morgan is always last. That's all I care
We're going to
about.
be completely wrong on all these predictions because of what we just said. So,
yeah.
Sorry, SEC, you guys are going to be fucking awful this year.
Vanderbilt's
which is all right with us.
Vanderbilt's going to win SEC at this point.
Yep, Bama's going to go 0-12.
Yep. Would I mind?
Oh, that would be great. That would be fantastic.
I don't think any of us would care.
No.
We'd spend every week here. We'd throw out the rundown and just talk shit about Bama the entire time.
Every week.
Every week. This would be the Bama hater show.
We'd probably get more listeners.
Probably. All right,
Colorado would be those down south guys.
yeah, talking shit.
Those Alabama Crimson Tide.
So you go marry your cousins. Your whole region sucks. So that is our SEC breakdown. We are going to be doing the breakdown of the Power 5 conferences leading up to the college football season. And then, of course, we'll get Pick 'em back when we start that. And we have our 2Blue and OSU Fantasy Football League up and running. I am going to dominate these two clowns as well as the other 9 members. You guys are fighting for second place, and I applaud you for the effort.
Oh my God!
We'll
Already
see.
starts.
I know, right?
And it doesn't stop till February, and that's why I love it.
As soon as I created the damn thing, he got his email, got the invite, and immediately sent out a huge message. It said, "From Huge Dicka," which clever. Good job. That's very original. He put a lot of thought into that one.
Did you look at the picture?
And then it was something about, no, I didn't see the picture, but it was something about being on a freaking mountain and he's the king and we're his peasants or so. Oh, it was just a load of crocked shit.
I didn't see that.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't hear you at the mountaintop with you peasants at the base. It's very
So
hard to
anyways,
hear
get
those
on.
beneath me.
Whatever. But anyways, like you said, the football league is up and running. Congrats to the other 9 that made it. It actually went by pretty quick. How to get my friends some credit, because it seems to be a lot of my friends that signed up or sent their emails in. So also, I got 2 guys from you that I didn't get emails from.
Who's that?
I need Uncle T's email and one more. I have to look and let you know.
Oh,
There's
Pelker.
one more that I need.
Pelker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle T didn't send you his email? You failed.
Yeah, unless he commented and I didn't see it.
Feel bad for Ryan. He never got to meet Uncle T.
Yes.
That was a fun episode.
Yeah, I
I'll have
wasn't
to
on
bring
here.
him on again whenever you get a chance.
We'll see if we can get him on for some college football talk here soon. Speaking of which, if you want to be a guest on
next
here-
week.
next week we'll probably do you guys want to do Big 12 or Pac-12?
Let's do Pac-12.
You want to do Pac-12 next week?
That works.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do Pac-12 next week. Then we'll do Big 12. Then ACC. Then we'll wrap it up with Michigan's dominance of the Big Ten.
Oh my God, you say that every year.
Preseason
Good
champs.
Lord.
I did not say it last year. I did not say it the year before. I haven't said it in almost a decade. I don't know what you're talking about. Ever since you've known me, I've never said that.
This is the most excited that I've seen you for a Michigan year in a long time.
It's been a long time
Probably,
since I've been.
probably since you were born. Probably since you were born.
No, 2006 I was excited. 2007 I was excited into the Appalachian State game, of course. I went to beat. I didn't have internet for that or cable for that game. I wasn't worried about it yet because it was Appalachian State. And the next thing I know, I hear a score that Michigan's losing. So I drive down to beat-ups. I watched the end, and I lost my shit. There were so many Buckeye fans too. This was in Muncie, Indiana, and there were so many Buckeye fans there. I was the only Michigan fan, and they ridiculed the shit out of my 18-year-old ass.
There's Buckeye fans everywhere, so.
Yeah, it's like a plague. It's a disease that we need to eradicate.
It's like AIDS.
Buckeyes equal AIDS.
Buckeyes equal AIDS. Shut up. God.
Hey,
I don't know how
hey,
you can still talk smack.
You get
won
it from
in
the
big
game,
house.
man.
Gave you guys
I'm sorry.
gave you guys an ass whooping
We-
in the
we-
big house.
We stopped listening to you like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, why are you still on here?
Until you beat us again, you guys cannot say anything.
Sure I can. Watch me. I do anyways. You can beat us by 100 points and I'll still talk trash. Who am I? Have you met me?
Yeah, I've known you for quite a while now. You'll find any reason to keep talking.
I will.
Knowing damn well that you cannot look in this camera and believe a word you're saying.
Michigan will win the Big Ten this year. Michigan will be in the playoffs this year.
Oh,
Spoiler. Spoiler alert for the Big Ten breakdown.
Oh my God.
I should have said spoilers first. My bad, guys. Ryan,
Yeah.
hey, stay safe out there, man. When you're in Ohio, don't get that Buckeye. Don't catch that Buckeye, man.
I stay indoors.
Hey, don't catch the Buckeye. It's the worst. It's worse than Ghana sip of Herpalades. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me tonight to talk a little college football. Finally, it's almost here, guys. We've almost made it. We can see the light.
Isn't this the last Sunday without football?
Yeah, we get preseason.
It
Preseason
is.
starts up next week. Yep.
Yep.
So
Thank
Until
God.
February.
Thank God.
I know. We appreciate you guys listening. If you want to be a guest on our show, hit one of us up. Let us know. If you want to talk some college football, it's going to be very college football heavy and pro football heavy for probably the next 8 months. Sorry, not sorry. Sorry, Ryan. Yeah, we'll talk a little hockey when the season kicks up. But
We got a while till that starts.
yeah, it's going to be very, very, very football heavy for the next few months. And I will not apologize for that.
Me neither.
But if you want to be a guest, talk some college football, let us know. If you have any critiques, if you agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook at 2BlueandOSU. Also, be sure to check out Morgan and me on the American Gooners podcast. We are also on YouTube. Like us on Twitter. I did it again. What the hell? Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at USA Gooners Pod. And for those of you who are into politics and social issues, check out my new YouTube channel that I took a hiatus for. The Lazy Agnostic is on YouTube. If you're not into that, stay away. It is a rabbit hole you do not want to venture down. It gets bad. But if you are, check it out. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to all three. Morgan, Ryan, until next week, man. Get ready.
Guys have a good one.
Take it easy.
All right,
See you next week.
to all y'all listening, thank you, and you guys have a great week.